Hi YouTubers, Howard here. This is part 3 of the battery experiment to see if we can save a bad car battery by reversing the polarity on it, by charging it in reverse in order to try to duplicate a claim made by a Russian experiment that we'll talk about when we compile all this together. This is part 3, and I think we finally achieved negative polarity for the first time in a stable manner, at least while charging. Here's what's been going on. The last time, which was a day or two ago, I used this 800 milliamp after discharging the battery down as much as I could get it using a light bulb. It was down to a couple of volts, and it didn't seem to have anything behind it. So I thought it would be okay to start using a charger on reverse polarity. So I used an 800 milliamp charger, which is very, very tiny. And it sparked when I'd hook it up like it's supposed to. And the fault light would go on, indicating reverse polarity. So I'd leave it like that. But as it turned out, from leaving it overnight, the fault actually it is a protection circuit. So it was doing nothing. It wasn't putting out any power when that fault light was on. So you'll notice the fault light is not on now. Now it's on yellow. It's actually charging in reverse. The way I achieved that is I took this 2 amp. It's just a straight dumb charger set on 2 amps, and I reverse charged it. I've got the battery caps off, and I kept checking the levels. And when I put 2 amps through it in reverse, it's clearly too aggressive. It's a little frightening. You immediately get rapid bubbling of hydrogen from the plates. And to me, that's a little, I'm more patient than that. Like I don't want to warp the plates or anything, or blow anything up. Even though the caps are off, so probably won't blow up, but who knows? So I found that by pulsing it, what I did is I'd hook up both chargers, and I've got my Radio Shack multimeter hooked up, and as you can see, it's reading negative 2.053 volts. So what I would do is I'd pulse the 2 amp for like 10 seconds at a time. I'd put it on for 10 seconds, and within that amount, within like 5 seconds, you're getting rapid electrolysis reaction with hydrogen bubbles. Big bubbles, not like you're boiling a pot of water, but I thought it was too aggressive for me. So I would do a 10-second, and then I'd observe the fault would turn off and go to yellow for charging on the other charger, on the 800 milliamp. But the 800 milliamp was not keeping up with the battery's own chemical tendency to revert back to normal polarity, so that the negative voltage would start dropping, and then it would get to 0 and start climbing again, and then it would switch to fault and stop charging. So I did this for really only for about 20 minutes. I've been standing here, and I'd give it 10 seconds on the 2 amp, wait a little while, wait a couple of minutes, give it another 10. When it was on the 2 amp, the voltmeter would stop at just under 2.5 negative volts, negative 2.5. It was like 2.45. Interestingly, it would always stop there. It wouldn't go higher than that. Excuse me, I'm sorry, 6.5 volts, negative 6.5 volts. Interesting. And as we know, a battery will act as a voltage limiter. So for example, if you've got a 9-volt battery or a 12-volt battery, no matter what voltage you put into it, you're only going to get out the voltage that the battery will limit the voltage out. Probably destroy the battery in the process eventually, but it acts as like a voltage regulator. So it's interesting that we're getting just under 6.5, indicating that maybe you could assume that at that moment we're operating a negative or a 6.5 volt battery capacity in reverse. It was negative. Just thoughts. Maybe you guys could comment. So anyway, it kept wanting to revert back to 0 and beyond, but I didn't let it get that far. When it would get down to about negative 2 something volts, I'd give it another pulse, another zap of 2 amps for about 10 seconds. And now I don't have to do it. It finally started reversing. We're at 2.062, and it's no longer dropping. It's holding, and we are not getting any aggressive gassing. In fact, I don't see any gassing. If I tap the battery, I'll probably see a few small bubbles, but I won't do that right now. But that seems to be what happens. So now I'm just going to leave this hooked up, and we'll see what happens. We're at it's trying to get to negative 2.064. It's trying to get that extra thousandths of a negative volt. So the idea is, if you just jumped into this part 3, is we're trying to bring this up to a healthy 12-volt battery, so it'd actually be 13.5 volts, I guess, but with the polarity reversed. And we started with a battery that, according to my vehicle and my Foxwell computerized battery tester, the battery needed replacing and had very high resistance. I saved the numbers that I could put when we compile all this. So that's it for today. It's Sunday, and we'll revisit this within a few days and see what that voltage is doing out.